All right. Excuse me. Got my Wahoo colors on. Got to root for Virginia. Not rooting for Virginia Tech today. They've won 23 out of 25, dating back to Matt Schaub and his ACC Player of the Year performance. I can't stand Virginia Tech. It's a family history here. So I'll be rooting for Virginia. Myron's going to come in here all excited, full of pea and vinegar, and hopefully rooting for the Wahoos to take this thing down. I just pulled up. So I pulled weather. Let's do weather first. I've got 6 teams I need to build. By the way, I hate FanDuel's slate. What's up, Patrick? FanDuel's pricing this week, I absolutely despise it, actually. And there's such a lack of players that I actually like this week on there that I'm playing extreme limited volume on FanDuel. Pavia and Wiegman are so much better than basically every other player that I'm having a hard time getting away from stuff. Let's go. What's up? I love Santana Moss. What a dog. What a dog. Love that dude. Like, it's just, if you're playing FanDuel, like Jeremy Payne's a good value for TCU. Here, let me just pull something up. Just so y'all can see. So, like, I'm playing some Kyron drones. I have like 10 lineups, maybe. Let's share this. So, FanDuel wise, we're not going to have a lot of FanDuel content today because I'm not playing a lot of FanDuel, mainly because I've been busy. You can't ignore your family when they finally come into town and they haven't seen them in 6 months. So, that's kind of the trials and tribulations of that when you actually have a family that likes you. But hey, who's complaining? Also, I have not looked at the DK Knight slate. I know I say that every week, but this week especially, there's been NFL all week. There's been college all week. So I'm going to have to build that at like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I'm sure I can give first thoughts, I guess, right before we wrap here. When we get to like 10:30 or so, I'll jump some first thoughts on that. But look, I'm going to have a hard time not playing Pavia, not playing Wiegman. This is kind of the type of stuff that I'm trying to build around. LJ Martin. I built all the teams I built are based around LJ Martin, Jaden Ball, Jamari Taylor, somebody in that top 3 that I like there. Jeremy Payne at 7,200 is the best value at running back. I mean, there's just a lack of value here today, guys, on FanDuel. It's a rare instance where FanDuel doesn't have stupid pricing. Pavia, Wiegman, and Drones are the 3 quarterbacks that I kind of use to pop around with. I'd understand if you wanted to go Bachmeier. I understand if you want to get some USC pieces. King Miller maybe at 8,100. I'm just worried about the Wayman Jordan coming back situation and them trying to get him work, that being a blowout potentially. There's a lot going on there. So I think Drones, Pavia, Wiegman is the clear top 3 at quarterback, which is kind of what I played around with and just threw some stuff together with that triple. And then Martin, Baugh, Taylor, and Payne is the running backs that I've played with in that sense. And then wide receiver wise, I think Keelan Marion's a great value at 6,600. Vernell Brown, this is where I'm going to need you guys to help me with, because I dove into this thing real quick and didn't even bother looking at it too much. I reached out, by the way, to my guy, with my guys with FSU. Good morning, Myron. I'm looking, dude. Georgia was awful, Myron. I mean, that was an embarrassing performance. Like, they dominated that game and did nothing. I mean, they gave us the blade. And look, no, what gave us the blade was, well, me specifically, was I just didn't want to play a lot of Hawkins because I wanted to try to. I've gotten to the point because of the big win that I'm just trying to hit another big win. And I didn't want to play a 40% owned Hawkins and just follow the field because the builds I could do were too limited. Bangura looked great early. Siobhan Wright was a nail. Like, we nailed Siobhan Wright. That was a big difference maker at 5,900 yesterday. It's just when you try to fade Hawkins and you go with the Lacey, who was good, Bangura, who was good, and Siobhan Wright, who was really good. But then, yeah, Camario was nutty. Camario was great. It was just one of those situations where, you kind of like, wide receiver, where were you going? That's kind of where we got lost yesterday. I like this little recap thing, so we'll hit the recap. I mean, Dorner was a nail on my end. Larry Simmons, the Utah wide receivers were nails as far as my cheap plays are there. Noah Thomas just destroyed me. I played Noah Thomas everywhere. So, when you get a donut, basically, I mean, I don't even know. I saw him get a deep target in that game. Lloyd Avant, like, okay, here's a small rant here. Lloyd Avant was an awful play. Categorically an awful play based on what he did yesterday. And you got bailed out by 130 receiving yards from a freaking running back. Like, he had 3 carries for like 12 yards or 10 yards or whatever. So if you get 3 carries for 10 yards from a freaking running back and you end up bailing yourself out with 130 receiving yards, like, I can't. That's not predictable. Wayshawn Parker was not great. It was just, I was fine with what I nailed. So the 2 things I nailed perfectly were Gronowski, Siobhan Wright, and then I was happy with what Bangura and Lacey did. Yeah, I know, right? Like, but that's the thing is, Caleb Hawkins is who Caleb Hawkins is, and I expected it. But it was one of those things that if I'm going to get a 40% owned Caleb Hawkins, like, I'll take the leverage on the field by taking Lacey and Bangura and being able to pay up for Wyatt Young and Nick McMillan. McMillan had 100 yards, didn't score. Wyatt Young had 100 yards, didn't score. Like, those things kill you. You just were on the bad side of touchdown luck there, touchdown variance. I mean, North Texas had 2 99-yard drives in 3 possessions. That's insane. Evan Simon, that was my worst call of the day. And that was, yeah, I mean, a gunner double was smart, though. Like, Zach Branch looked great. Like, it was just, I think it's one of those things where you have to look back on it and not be results based and say, was my process good? I think my process was good because I faded 40% of the field and had an advantage. Buddy, I watched that entire Temple game until they pulled Simon. And good Lord, like, I don't know what he was doing. I was so pumped when he scored that first touchdown. I was like, okay, we're going to get 280 yards here and a couple scores. And we didn't get anything. So yeah, we move on. This is the beauty of DFS. Yesterday's results have 0 bearing on today's results. So let's just look at the FanDuel slate, because like I said, I'm not playing a lot, but I'm gonna play a little bit here. I think you got to play Pavia, got to play Wiegman, got to play Drones. I think that's your 3. It's not too surprising given that the Georgia Tech defense played great because they, oh, buddy, you ain't lying, man. You ain't lying on Utah State there. That was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And Braden Pagan played, but he did nothing. Shocker. Not shocked. I didn't think he was going to play. Running back wise, I think you're looking at LJ Martin, Jaden Ball, Jamari Taylor. I have one Jamari Taylor team because I wanted to pair him with Drones as kind of a bring back situation. I think a lot of the field's going to end up on Bo Jackson at 7,900. I think you're going to see a lot more split backfield there. personally. Hey, how about Texas? I did get that money line for sure. That worked out. They dominated that game. I think Texas is in. Drop it in the chat. I'm actually curious. How many people think Texas is in the college football playoff now? I think they jumped Miami with that win. Oh, see, now you're thinking about it. Now you're thinking about it, Warren. I like that. Golly, we're gonna go through that because I hate to say that I'm way in on Carson Beck again, and I am, and it's bothering me. I love Hardy and Allen. They're probably my top two of my top three backs on DK. I like Beck a lot. Here's the thing. Connor's matchup is nuts. Singleton's matchup solid. Pavia could drop a 50. I really think Pavia is going to drop a 50 burger. So if we start adding the points up, let's say Beck drops 22. Let's say Pavia drops 45. Let's be conservative even. And then Connor's Hardy is probably, I think Hardy's probably like a 30 burger. So you're at 50, let's call it 52. Katron's probably another 30. So you're probably 80 points, 82 points out of Beck, Hardy, Allen. And then Singleton max, I think Singleton's like 15, 20. Connors is probably 20. So, I mean, you're talking 80 out of each. I'm really a 20 point. So, Myron, what I would say is that I don't disagree with you one bit. I don't love the cold weather. It doesn't bother me very much for Beck to an extent. That defense is so good stopping the run, and we saw what Notre Dame did to them. So I like that Pitt defense. I have Pitt winning that game. I hope they win that game. But I think that if Miami wins that game, it's through the air. So yeah, but I think it was warmer. So we'll hit weather here in a second. All right. So yeah, like I said, I think Jeremy Payne, LJ Martin, because remember LJ Martin last week, a similar thing to against Cincinnati, ran for 222 and 2. I think Jeremy Payne can get 100 and a touch. Yeah. So on JB on FanDuel, I think Jeremy Payne's a great play. DK, I have interest. Even with Battle, I think what Payne did last week gives him a leg up. I do have some moderate concern because of Denman, the young kid. He's stone min on FanDuel. I mean on DK at 4K. I like John Denman a bit as like a full punt, but so yeah, I would say I agree with the Battle deal. I understand that. But yeah, even then, he's going to be involved a hair. I don't think he gets 19 carries. I think he's getting 4 to 5. Nothing crazy with Trent Battle here. I think Payne's kind of established himself at this point, coming off of an 18 carry, 100-yard game against Houston. Houston's solid defense, and he's been pretty efficient even for Ohio State, BYU, and into Houston. Those are solid numbers the last 3 weeks. Yeah, Sadiq, 100%. 100% Sadiq. Love Sadiq today. He's one of my options. So I'm going to looking at the guys on FanDuel that I'm most interested in. I think Sadiq at 7,500. I agree with that. I like all the tight ends. That's the funny part. Because like Baylor is awful against the tight end. So I prefer Kojal at 7,100 to Amari Thomas here. And basically going to be pairing Elijah Lofton. I like Marion at 6,600. Lofton's the best cheap option, in my opinion, on FanDuel. And it's so hard to get. I'm not playing Desmond Reed. I do not like Desmond Reed. I think he's barely going to play. So if we look at it, like Kobe Prentice is a shot play I don't trust. I'm really in on Elijah Lofton here. Eli Raritan, we were high on against Pitt. Pitt's awful defending the tight end. Yeah, Marion's. I'm having a very hard time not just hitting smash on Marion on DK. He's my best play on DK probably as far as points per dollar goes. So Lofton, I think, finds the end zone. He's found the end zone 2 weeks in a row. He does not get a ton of volume, but at 5,200 in probably the nutsest matchup you can get, I'm pretty sure Pitt allows the most fantasy points to tight ends on the year. And so it's very difficult for me to get away from Elijah Lofton. I guess technically speaking, I probably should take some shots on Joe Royer, but I prefer Lofton's matchup the most. What I was trying to get information on from my guys was what's the deal with this Javen Boggs thing? He ran 70% of the routes last week against NC State and had 4 for 56. So I'm kind of trying to figure that one out. It seemed like he kind of replaced. You did talk me on to him. Yeah, I have some. I do have some in 20 max. I think it's a very fair point. I think the sneakiest play on this slate comes from BYU at wide receiver, and I don't know where to go with this. So Chase Roberts is going to be out. That means Kingston is going to start. Who goes out there with him? I was tempted to try to figure this out. I just didn't care enough because it's on FanDuel and it's not on DK. If it was on DK, I'd try to figure it out. But I think it's going to be JoJo Phillips. But somebody has to pick up the workload that Roberts was getting, unless UCF's been pretty good against the pass and terrible against the run. It's kind of why I'm just going LJ Martin in these limited amount of teams that I'm playing. Maybe Tiger Bachmeier gets more run at 4,900. There's your punts, you know what I mean? And I think you end up playing some guys in there, but usually I'm just going Lofton. I kind of just decided on FanDuel that's where I was going to go. So let's talk weather. So weather today, Houston, Baylor, it's got a little bit of wind, but nothing crazy. We're good there. Texas Tech, West Virginia, it's cold, but otherwise it's fine. It gets cold in Lubbock, so I'm not too worried there for Texas Tech if you were, but I'm not particularly playing anybody from Texas Tech personally. Miami Pitt, it's cold, but it's fine. That doesn't particularly worry me either. So I have no issues with that. Remember, Marion played at BYU too, so the cold won't bother him by comparison to like a Malachi Toney or something. Ohio State, Michigan for the game. Temps are freezing, light snow possible. I'm not particularly interested in that matchup either which way. Missouri, Arkansas, there's a little bit of rain in the forecast. This is the snow game from last year where Brady Cook ran the ball for like 100 yards on the ground and bailed me out at like 5,200 or whatever after he had played terrible. Shout out Brady Cook. That was great. Winds are supposed to get higher and higher through the game. And 15 to 20 sustained, 30-mile-an-hour gusts late in the game. So that's going to be a downgrade to the pass game, especially the deep pass game. But your short area passing is going to be fine. And your run games, which is what I like most in this one, is going to be fine. So like your Ahmad Hardys and your Mike Washingtons won't have any issues. If anything, they'll catch more passes. Kevin Coleman, not a concern for me in that one either. LSU, Oklahoma, I'm moderately interested. I think it comes down to Payne and Xavier Robinson at 5,100 as to which one you prefer. I'm kind of actually interested in Xavier Robinson. Winds are pretty rough in the LSU Oklahoma games. 20 miles an hour sustained, gusts around 30 to 35. That game just feels like it hits the under all day long. At 36 and a half, it might have gone down even more. That just feels like a 17-10 game at best, 17-6, something like that, with Xavier Robinson and John Mateer just running the football consistently. That's not a game that I want to target any of the passing games in anyway. So I think it's really only Xavier Robinson that I would be interested in there. Cincinnati TCU. I've got a little bit of TCU stacks, but they're not going to be featured in the main teams we're going to build today. Couple downpours possible early. It's getting windy later in that game. Sustained around 20, gusts up to 35. That's going to kill the deep passing game for both teams. I think Cincinnati, you're going to see just try to run the football, but they have the two-headed monster that you can't really stack in there. They're kind of hard to figure out, so I just stay away. Sorsby is right there with Weigman, and I literally don't think that there's. I debated Sorsby. I think he's my fourth favorite quarterback, but at what point do I really think that Sorsby is anywhere better than Weigman? I just can't. Weigman's going to get 15 more carries than Sorsby, or 10 more carries at least. So I don't know that Sorsby is like, I don't see how you can say that Sorsby's floor is fine, but I don't think his ceiling's anywhere close to Weigman or Pavia. So it's kind of impossible to say, hey, I'm going to pay up. I'm going to pay down for Sorsby. I'm not really getting anything with that 200 from Weigman to Sorsby. I debated putting him in one of these teams. I just can't do it. Wins are fine in Florida State. No issues there. And as I mentioned, I went and sought out the news from my friends with Florida State. That's my thing, Myron. I think I debated playing Sorsby. I ended up building my 20 max last night. I didn't put any Sorsby in. I'm just not interested. So I've been trying to figure this out, and I was asking around. Like Danzy and Robinson are the clear 1 and 2. Pittman's going to play tight end. We know that. I was trying to understand why McCoy kind of came off the field, LaWayne McCoy, last week. And we ended up getting, so like he still had 3 for 45 last week. He just didn't play as many snaps as he had been. I thought he might have gotten banged up because Boggs ended up playing 70% of the snaps and finished with 456 last week. I don't know if he's going to do it again. So I started asking around, and they kind of don't really have any specific reasoning because I was trying to fill it out or figure it out. So he played 80% of the snaps last week, had 6 targets. I don't know. McCoy is questionable, but nobody said anything. McCoy played the first quarter. Yeah, I mean, McCoy had 3 for 45 in 15 minutes of that game. So that's interesting. I can't go there because I don't know what's going to happen now. And nothing in their Slack channels or anything said that that McCoy was going to play, not play, or anything like that. So, that's kind of where we're at. Quarterback-wise on DK, I'll get into the injuries here in a bit, and then we're going to look at what Stochastic's doing, so I know kind of what the field's going to do, see if I'm fading or not fading, or following the field on or not following the field on. Quarterback-wise, I'm pretty much down to 4 guys that I want to play in the bigger stuff. Pavia, Weigman, Beck. I think I'm going to take one shot on Beck just because I like because I'm going to play his cheap options. And I think I just have to bite the bullet and play Callie McManus because it feels very Evan Simon-y. I played Castellanos in a couple teams in 20 max. I did play Callie McManus on a couple teams in 20 max. I stacked him with Deuce Robinson and played Jaden Baugh on the bring back. If he's going to hit a ceiling game, it's going to be based on that personally. So, but yeah, I think Pavia, Weigman, Beck, and then I'm going to play 2 Callie McManus teams because he's so cheap. Like I just think he's going to get the 20. It could be I could get Evan Simon here again. It's very possible I get Evan Simon, but it's too easy to build with him, and I have such a hard time not doing it. Running back wise, I think it's Ball, Allen, Hardy are very clearly the top three for my money. They're very clearly the top three. I haven't differentiated from that. They were the core. I think they're the best three. If I can fit two and then play all wide receivers, I will. Otherwise, I'm looking at Antoine Raymond in non-Cali McManus teams. Dean Connors with Weigman or without Weigman, because Dean Connors can catch passes. I don't mind him as part of a triple stack. And Baylor's terrible against the run. I know Connors has been getting pulled a little bit here and there. His carries have not been exactly where I would prefer them to be. I'd love him to be in the 18 carry range. He's kind of been more in the 12 carry range with, 15 touches. Can he get there on 15 touches? His touchdown equity's been getting taken away by Weigman. I think he still has ceiling in him. It's just a matter of, we haven't seen an other than that 54-yard run against TCU last week. It's kind of been pretty much sub 20 on explosives. The explosives really haven't been there. So that would be the concern. Mike Washington, because of Myron, I've now put him in my main pool. He just gets to 20. He feels Mike Washington feels very, very, yes, you're nuts, Rod. Lagway, I can't stand. I just think Lagway's so bad. I just think Lagway is such a bad player right now. It's mainly coaching. I'm not going to say he's not talented. I'm just going to say I just don't think he's a particularly good player right now. The offense does not fit him. He started running more, which is helping him. But, I mean, he has nobody to throw to. If Dallas Wilson was healthy, I would like Lagway. Because I think, it's 100% Cali McManus at 5K. Cali McManus, tell me how Lagway is any which way better than Cali McManus. Cali McManus has passed to throw for 300. I looked into this and really went deep on. I like Pribula. I think Pribula's in play. I do worry a little bit about the weather, but I do have, and I like Ahmad Hardy just to destroy. But I do have a little bit of Pribula stuff in 20 max. I played Pribula with Mike Washington and Kevin Coleman. And then I also threw some Raylan Sharp in there. I think that's viable, Myron. They could easily get 5 touchdowns between the two of them. I think you could see 50 plus points from the pair between Singleton and Allen. I think Allen's likely to be able to get the 30 points, and I think Singleton just needs to get you 24, and he could do it on a couple touches. But, I mean, let's look at Cali McManus. So I went and did a deep dive because I was trying to figure out whether I was nuts or not on who Penn State's played. So here, I'm gonna deep dive back into it. It's literally my last Google search because I was reading this last night, trying to figure out whether I was stupid for playing Cali McManus or not. So they have played Penn State, Nevada, FIU, Villanova. None of those passing attacks are anywhere close to Rutgers. UCLA, I wouldn't count as an offense close. Yeah, cheap running back's terrible. I wouldn't count UCLA as a passing attack anywhere close to Rutgers. I wouldn't think Northwestern's anywhere close to Rutgers. Iowa, nowhere close to Rutgers. Michigan State and Nebraska without Raiola, nowhere close to Rutgers. So none of those teams compare to Rutgers. Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon are the closest thing we have, but they're not necessarily fair comparisons because I would say they're all better passing attacks. Maybe Oregon's the closest, right? And in that sense, Dante Moore threw for 240 and 3 touchdowns. Mendoza wasn't great. And then Ohio State absolutely torched them through the air, but we know they have a lot better wide receivers. So I would say they're somewhere in between. They're not the levels of those 3 teams passing the football, and they're not as bad as these other teams at passing the football. So they're somewhere in the middle. And Penn State's average giving up about 18, 19 points to the quarterback position. So if we look into Cali McManus, he was awful last week against Ohio State. Is that to be expected? Yes, 100%. He was never in play. We were never playing him. Where does the Penn State defense fall by comparison to these other teams that Rutgers has faced? I think it's closest to Washington or Iowa. And he had 25 and 20, 26 and 27 against those two teams. I'm just looking for 20 out of Cali McManus. If he can give me 20, I'm extremely happy. If he gives me anything more than 15, I'm pretty happy. So 250 and 2 touchdowns is going to give me 18. I'll take that, and I feel pretty good about it. So I'm wondering, is he Gronowski for me today, or is he Evan Simon? And I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know there. Cheap running back is trash. Absolutely trash. And Turner's out, to Myron's point, from Baylor. I'm pretty sure Turner's out. So it leaves Knighton. But Washington has been getting more work. He's so banged up. He's so banged up. So yeah, I would say if you're going anywhere, it would be Knighton. But I would say I prefer Payne from TCU at 5,100. Yeah, Dante Moore's pretty cheap. I think that's a low scoring game. I think that game goes under. That Oregon total's 51.5. I think the game goes under personally. So for me, I think Mike Washington's in my pool at running back, and I think Jeremy Payne's in it. And I don't hate shots on Denman. And then wide receivers that I'm willing to play unstacked, because this is an important differential, because most of it I'm going to want to play is stacked wide receivers. Because mostly it's going to be Beck with his wideouts, or Weigman with wideouts, or no, he's on the team from what I know. Like Washington's there, they're just not using him because he's been so banged up. Deuce Robinson's the top option at 6,400, unstacked. Braylon Staley and Chris Brazzell, I think you can play unstacked. I just don't trust Aguilar. I'm going to play game stacks of Aguilar and Pavia. I did play some of that, but I think Staley and Brazzell, you got to have a Tennessee guy in there at some point. Sadiq, perfectly great playing unstacked. Keelan Marion, obviously, is my favorite option to play unstacked, but I think Lofton's the same. And then Kevin Coleman, I like playing unstacked at 4,700. I think he sees a ton of targets in the short area, and I thought Privia actually looked good last week. So let's talk about Joey Aggs. Do I think he gets 300 yards? Yes. Do I think he can get 3 touchdowns? Yes. The upside is probably 30. The floor is probably 15. I don't know that. I think you can get to some Tommy C. I probably prefer Tommy C to Aguilar personally, if I was going to play a guy, because I wouldn't mind playing Tommy C with Deuce with Jaden Baugh. I think it's a fun way to play that game, especially with a late hammer, because that game's really late. It's an hour behind every other one. It's kind of a fun late hammer in that spot. So that's kind of where I would be. And I like Brazzell. I probably prefer Staley a hair, but if I don't have the money, which a lot of the time I just don't have the 300 to get from him. Same thing, like a lot of the time, I prefer Junior Sherrill to Trey Richardson, but a lot of the time I don't have the money to get there, so I just pay down and I'm fine with it. So I do have plenty of that stuff right there. All right, so the sim stuff, what is it saying? Because I'm able to glean a hair out of this. Pavia, 57% exposure. He's projected to be about 53% owned. That's crazy. Makes sense, but it's crazy. Jaden Baugh, heavy exposure. He's projected to be heavily owned. Katron Allen, heavily owned. Keelan Marion, heavily owned. This has Malachi Tony and Kenny Johnson. I do not expect that much. I mean, if there's that much ownership on those guys, I'm happy about it. They're saying Beck about 18% owned, and he's 36% in Sims. So apparently Beck is simming really well. I like Xavier Robinson. I think he's a good pivot option at 5,100. I've started getting more and more of him in my personal builds, and I might have some because LSU's been struggling against the running back position, and they're like, I got to think he's going to get 15 to 20 touches in this spot. So 100 yards and a touchdown is not out of the realm of possibility. Taylon Green is very cheap, but he might not be the starter. So, and he might get pulled at some point in this game. He got banged up late last week, came out of the game, didn't play late. I think it's very risky. I think in 20 max, you can take chances. I'm just kind of getting out of there. That's the thing. Since that SMU game, Beck's been great, and I was all in on him on that SMU game. So maybe if I go all in on him, he'll lose this week, and I'd be happy with that. But like I said, I'm going to play a Beck team. I just don't think I'm going to play it in the 100K. I probably am going to end up playing Cali Manis ×2. I think I'm going to play a couple Cali Manis teams because everything fits great with Cali Manis. I'll be honest. You fit 2 of the big boy backs, and then you fit 4 wideouts and anything you want there. And I really like it. I just don't see how you can pay 7K for Malachi. The fact that they have 0 Ahmad Hardy on here is, whoo, doggy. I think I'm going to be massively over. If somebody's got ownership projection on Ahmad Hardy, let me know, because what I'm seeing is it looks like the most popular trio is going to be Baugh, Allen, and Payne, which I get. I mean, Baugh is a stud. He's the #1 running back and the #1 wide receiver for that team right now. You, sir, are a madman if you want to fade Pavia. They are trying to get that man a Heisman, and I really think they're going to. I mean, there's no way that FanDuel, they got LJ Martin, Pavia, King Miller, which I think King Miller makes a ton of sense at 8,100. They got Jamal Adreen, LOL. They're saying one quarterback slate. Jaden Baugh. That's interesting. Everybody's on the Malachi Tony stuff. I don't know that I like that. I'll be honest. I like Bishop. 23%. I think that's light. I think that's lighter than I expected going into the week. Hardy at 23%. I mean, his point per dollar projection is not exactly crazy. But I think 20% on Hardy, if we're looking at it, just base it off of the Michael Trigg's out today, by the way. That just popped. No Michael Trigg for Baylor. It takes away a big weapon for them. I'm not super interested in the Baylor pass game, but if I was going to play it, see, that's where I'm at, Rod. I think Hardy should be 50% owned. I don't know that. Yeah, Josh Cameron's going to get peppered. If I'm playing Sawyer Robertson, I'm playing him with just Josh Cameron, and that's it. I don't particularly love Sawyer Robertson today. I'm off of Robertson in total, but I'm more on. Man, how do you not play Hardy there? Like, I'm very much so on the other side of that game, just playing a ton of Houston and not even bothering to bring it back. I don't think you need to. All the points are going to come through like 4 guys for Houston. It's 4 guys who are going to score points. It's Weigman, it's Dean Connors, Amari Thomas, and Tanner Kojal. I think Tanner Kojal has a nutty matchup today and is a fun play. And I'm tempted to say at 6,400, I would just prefer. Hang on, we got to look at Ahmad Hardy here. Josh is throwing slander on Ahmad Hardy and his greatness. Let's see. All right, Oklahoma on the road. That's a tough game. I mean, Josh, come on. We're semanticing over 3 yards against Missouri here. His pass game usage is what scares me. We saw what Jeremiah Love did. Yeah, well, we also saw what Kewan Lacey did the week before, like last week against Arkansas. I don't know that Kewan Lacey's a marginally different player to Ahmad Hardy. I really don't. I mean, other than Kewan Lacey catches passes and Ahmad Hardy's not particularly a pass catcher. I mean, we saw this game, and Ahmad Hardy did not do that last week or this week, yesterday. I mean, Ahmad Hardy ran for what, 250 against Arkansas? Arkansas stinks. Like, Arkansas gave it up to LSU on the ground, and LSU cannot run the football to save their life. Oh, I will tell you, I have 2 Hoover teams. I have 10% ownership in Hoover in the 20 max. I have Hoover, and it has to have McAllister. That's the thing. Well, I don't know. Yeah, Vandy's a pass funnel, no doubt about it, and he ran for almost 100. Auburn is a tough run defense, and he still managed that 20 points. And then otherwise, they haven't been on the road. I mean, yeah, he's faced 3 of the toughest run defenses in the SEC on the road. Like that's, and one of them he had 2 touchdowns. The other one he had almost 100 yards, and then he stunk against Oklahoma in literally the worst matchup you could possibly have against the run, with a quarterback who was banged up and coming back, but much better situation. If I have Cali McManus, then Singleton. If I have a little bit of Singleton, but not much. I have a lot of Hoover. I have Hoover only with McAllister, and I like his cheap price. But I think, yeah, I'm gonna go over that about 45 minutes once I finish building. For 7.5K, you need 30 plus. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But the thing is, so here's the question, right? From a running back standpoint, the way that I'm factoring it in, I think Katron Allen gets you about 30. I think that's a pretty fair assumption for him to get 20 plus carries, 120 plus yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think he could get you 30, no doubt about it. I really do like that. Oh boy. Cali McManus, Allen Singleton, Duff Raymond. I do like the Duff Raymond with Cali McManus stuff. I think that game does have shootout potential. So I like the Bishop thought. I have a little bit of that with Pavia. I think it's a fun way to play it differently because I think most people are going to play the Tennessee pass game instead. So I think that's fun. I actually don't hate that. I don't hate that, Kinger. I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that. But I mean, are they going to feed Trig when they have all those wide receiver options, or do they just change the way the offense operates? And all those wide receiver options are super priced up for Baylor, which is what bothers me. Like, why is Hawkins, Wilson, and Prentice? Like, why is Hawkins and Wilson priced up so much? I think you end up seeing more 3 wide sets with Cameron, Hawkins, Wilson, maybe more 4 wide sets with Prentice on the field, and then Trig out. And then Klopfenstein might rotate in here and there, but I think they probably just changed the offense personally. All right, we're going to check. I wish Lane Kiffin was going to announce on game day. It would have been hilarious. Or if he just finished one of his interviews with like a Go Tigers, would have been funny too. All right, let's see what my game day chat has. Anything there? Anything in the props markets? No. They're talking Georgia State now. Yeah. Miles Kitselman's out. Ethan Davis is in. I think Raymond is a good play. Not a great play, but a good play. Yeah. Favorite plays from that game. I like playing it two different ways. My favorite way to play it is Pavia single stacked with at least one Tennessee wide receiver. I probably prefer Staley. I don't know. I might play two in this without Aguilar. That's going to sound crazy, but I might play Pavia with Sherrill or Richardson, one of the two. I don't love Stowers just because I think he's riskier. I prefer Sherrill. Sherrill's my preferred play. It just comes down to price. And then I don't mind doing Bishop with one of the guys, but I would prefer to just play Jaden Baugh for the extra 300. So I would say it's Staley, Brazel, and it's just a coin flip between the two depending on price. And then Sherrill, Richardson, which I prefer Sherrill, but I'll play Richardson if I have to. I'm just in between the two, and I don't mind doing Bishop. So it's that game's going nuclear. It just has it written all over it. All right, let's hit the injury news and notes here. What do I have? Decorian Moore still out. Gary Bryant still out. Reminder, we broke the Decorian Moore news first on this show 3 weeks ago that he was going to be out for a while. Thank you. Yeah, but does that matter when you got guys that haven't even been to that school for a year? You know what I mean? I don't know that senior day holds the same weight for that type of player. Smith and Tate are both expected to play for Ohio State. I'm not interested in either one. Desmond Reed's going to return, but they're uncertain how much of a workload he can handle. I don't think it's very much. I'm not interested whatsoever. Ymir Knight's going to play against Cal. He's got turf toe, so I'm not interested anyway. He's the third option in that offense. Miller Moss expected to give it a go today. Does not matter to me. I'm not interested. All four scholarship running backs for Louisville are out today. They're going to start freshman walk-on Braxton Jennings. Good God, Louisville's going to lose to Cal or Kentucky. Yeah, Louisville's losing to Kentucky. Not happy about that. Backup running back for Louisville is going to be Sean Boykins, a converted wide receiver. Chris Bell also out. And Colin Lacey is a game-time decision. Is Kentucky a dog? I got to see this. Because if that's the case, there's no way I'm not playing Kentucky. Like, how are you not going to play Kentucky? Louisville does not have a single soul on that roster right now. Cutter Boley's questionable. I don't even mind Zach Calzada in that spot, to be honest with you. Let me see. If Kentucky is a dog, I will take that money line all day. I don't even care. And Cutter Boley came back and played last week. So after his neck got hurt. And that killed us last week. I'll be honest. Cutter Boley had a hell of a game. Yes, I would prefer Knighton over Washington. Oh, UK's plus 100? That's like Clemson being a dog. That one makes no sense either. I don't get that. Oh yeah. Give me Kentucky money line all day long. Let's add that to the slip. Yeah, I know, right? How do you not just take Kentucky and Clemson money line parlay over here? You know what I mean? That seems reasonable. Give me Kentucky money line, Clemson money line. I'll take both of them. That's plus 330 on the money line. Let's make a little card up here. How is Houston a dog at plus 120? Give me that too. That's what I'm saying, Myron. Give me all three of them. That's plus 846. I don't love I've bet Cincinnati money line. It's just not on the level of those other three. I can tell you that. Let's see. Is there anybody else we can add that we feel pretty good about? Because I don't see how any of those are losses. I mean, the fact that Houston's a dog is insane. All three of those are nutty that they're dogs. Let's see. I mean, I'm tempted to take Vandy at plus 120, but I think it's fair. Same thing like Cincinnati, I think is fair. I already have bets on those teams. Missouri minus 205 makes a ton of sense. Just to add that, but I'm not going to. Florida State's a coin flip. I've got a bet on Virginia Tech just to feel good. I don't know how I feel about Michigan. I think Michigan either wins the game or loses by a billion. It's just one of those, like, it just feels that way. I think North Carolina plus 220 is fine, personally. Yeah, we're going to take that as a 3-leg parlay. Let's go. Let's get a little unit on that, because why not? We got some winnings from Texas last night to play with. Hey, Jeremiah Love for Heisman too. I've still got that plus like a 50-1 ticket on that. I'm looking pretty tasty there. So Denzel Boston and Jonah Coleman are expected to start. I still think Jonah Coleman looked awful, and no, do not play Jonah Coleman today. No. He looked awful last week. I watched enough of that to know that I'm not even going to consider it. Jordan Marshall's back today. We knew that. FAU, ECU, I don't think I need to particularly worry about that. So that's not particularly interesting. Let's see here. Anything else on the DFS side? No, nothing there. Alabama news. Josh Cuevas is out at tight end. I think the wide receivers get plenty of work there. Probably Lottie Brooks. Lane Kiffin, everybody's pretty confident it's going to LSU. That's kind of fun. Let me see. New injury news. Yeah, well, Trigg being out, we knew that. Texas, nothing there. Miami, they're talking about Malachi Toney. I think K-State, yeah, probably whoops up on them. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for. Well, I mean, realistically, they don't even need to lose. They just need to not play great. Like Mendoza didn't do anything last night. It's coming down to Pavia and Love, really. And that's why I think you're Jordan Hudson, he's going to play today. So that's interesting. Texas Tech, what's the availability report there? Reggie Virgil's probable. Bayron's probable. I think they get Bayron out of there. I really do think that they're going to get those guys out pretty quick in Morgantown. I think they're literally just going to hand the football off and that's it. So that's where I'm thinking on Texas Tech today. That's why I'm kind of out in that situation. I think they just turn around and just hand it off. I think Pavia could win it. If they win today and he throws up another 50 spot, I think Pavia's got a legit shot. Now, Jeremiah Love's absolutely going to toast. So, like the late night slate, just lock Jeremiah Love and don't even think twice about it because they're going to try to get him 200 yards and multiple scores. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, just throw Kansas State in there as just a little odds booster in that parlay. I mean, I'd go with the 3-teamer. And that's fine. I don't think it hurts anything. All right, we got to start building, boys. We got an hour till lock. I got to start building. So, first team in the Turkey Hangover. Oh boy. All right. Let me just import the team that I have. That's Pavia, Cali, Manus, and then that way I don't even have to think twice about it. We're just gonna import what I had, and then that way I can decide. So this was the team that I had built. One of them, it's got Bishop, it's got Brazel, it's got Cheryl. Like it's kind of a fun little deal here. Cali Madison Strong, I think, is the best combo on that roster. Against Katron Allen as a bring back. I mean, this is a hard team to beat, you know. Hey, it's got Keelan Marion. So if I was going to not build this team and I wanted to get off of it, let's say I wanted to change it around a little bit. Um, let's say, let's see here. Let's go running backs. Let's say we want Ahmad Hardy for his lower ownership. Let's say we want Jaden Ball. I've got to have a wide receiver with Callie Manis. And that leaves you 4,100. I don't like that. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. Myron, I'm playing 4 entries though. It's $100. Like, you know, what is the top end of the payout? I would not recommend anybody else play this unless you have a bankroll that you've built. Yeah, I mean, look at the payout structure. You got to finish top 5, or I mean, I'd be happy with anything top 10, I guess, but I got to finish top 75 for me to make my money back on the 4 entries. 1 entry's got to finish up there, or I got to finish, multiple entries in the top 700, which, I mean, the likelihood is you're just pissing money away. Let's be real. But you take shots, you take shots. You don't get these shots in college very often. So the question is, do you want to play Brazel here? Do you not want to play Brazel? I mean, the other team built is a better team probably, because you get the Katron Allen bring back. I could go Duff in here. This is where my mind starts playing with me. Like, do I want Hardy and Ball? Do I want... What did it have? It had... It had Bishop, but I don't like Bishop's matchup. Best flex 5,500 or less. What's your quarterbacks? That's gonna matter, because like Junior Sherrill would be the best if you had. Yeah, I mean, it's Junior Sherrill. No matter what, it's Junior Sherrill at 5,400 for me. He's got the most upside. I know Sadiq is a great option at 5K. Like raw points, it's probably Sadiq. But for me, yeah, I don't mind. The question is can an unstacked Sherrill win you a tournament without Pavia? And that's the thing that I struggle with, right? Because an unstacked Sadiq can win you a tournament. Because you're kind of, if you're fading Pavia, you got to hope that Pavia doesn't get there. Is there a route that Sherrill gets there that Pavia doesn't? That's a question, right? I hate 4,100. I don't particularly like any of the running backs. Obviously, down here, you'd be punting with Denman, so you got to go wide receiver. And then Marion's my favorite one, but do I want to leave 700 on the table? Not particularly. And at that point, would I not just rather... Hang on. What was... That's what I mean. Like if you play an unstacked Sherrill, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm playing Pavia teams. It's very obvious. All right, let's stick. Is there another Pavia Callic Manus team? There's got to be. That's a Wiegman Callic Manus, which I'm playing some of. Here's another one. So that's a Pavia double with a Callic Manus double. I am not playing that. I can tell you that. I can tell you right now, there's a 0.0% chance that I'm playing this lineup right here in the Turkey Hangover. I am not playing a Pavia double with a Callic Manus double. That is stupid. That is asking to just donate money. And if that goes off, then sure, I'm gonna win the 20 max. But I mean, there's no way I'm playing that. That has no chance of cashing. I don't like the only value guy that I think Jeremy Payne is perfectly good on FanDuel. at running back. That's probably my favorite value running back at 7,200. I think he's perfectly fine. I don't love going there. Wide receiver wise, I think Elijah Lofton is my favorite value at 5,200. The Miami tight end. Pitt gives up the most points to tight ends in the country. I think it's over 16 per game. Lofton's caught a touchdown 2 straight weeks. So I think Lofton's a perfectly great play, or as Davis would say, a cromulent play. And then if you can figure out who the second wide receiver for BYU is going to be, it would be a very strong play. I just don't know that you can figure it out. So I would lean JoJo Phillips or Tiger Bachmeier. I just don't know because I think Chase Roberts is definitely out. But the question becomes, who is it? And I have no idea. That's a tough one for me. That's a very tough one. So, I'm not certain on that. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a tough one for me to spell out. But if you can figure out a second BYU wide receiver, I'd have interest. It'd be right there with Lofton. Tiger Bachmeier's like 4,900, so maybe you could get something out of that. But I think value sucks on FanDuel, and I'm playing like 4 teams there, 5 teams, 10 teams, something like that. It's not a lot, just because I don't want to. Oh, I think core on FanDuel is you play. To me, the 3 quarterbacks I played were Pavia, Wiegman, and Drones. The running backs I played were Martin, Baugh, Taylor. I think King Miller's interesting. I'm nervous about it, but I think King Miller's interesting, and Jeremy Payne. And then wide receiver wise, I think you're just stacking. But I played like some Cam Coleman. I think Keelan Marion's good at 6,600 if you're not going to go Lofton, and then mix and match in the Tanner Koziel and the Vandy kids. And then maybe if you can get up to one of the Tennessee wideouts, great. Deuce Robinson's a great play at 9,200 as well. But like I said, I didn't play a ton of FanDuel. I don't particularly like that slate today. There was just not anything that stood out for me feeling great about. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I don't believe you for a second. Oh, okay. We were talking FanDuel. I thought you said Cyrus Allen was 6.1K on FanDuel. If I'm playing Sorsby, then I want Cyrus at 6.1. I don't love it though. And I'll tell you, the weather is not looking particularly perfect for Cincinnati, TCU. It's supposed to probably have some heavy rain early potentially, and then wind in the second half of the game. Looks like it's 20 mile an hour sustained, 35 gusting. I'm kind of not loving that game. So, hey, at least you won some money to get yesterday, brother, because I did not play enough. I decided to fade Caleb Hawkins, and that was kind of my thing. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the win there. That doesn't mean that Cyrus Allen can't get his work done early, but I have such a hard time paying 8,600 for Sorsby and then paying 200 more for Wiegman. Like I think that's going to be a ground and pound game. So Sorsby's not going to get enough running compared to Wiegman for my money. Personally, that's just where I'm at. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion for whatever it's worth. I don't know that I want to get away from this team. I'm not going to lie. I like Deshaun Bishop. Peyton Lewis probably out again. I don't particularly love this. Like, I'll be honest. I didn't really want to go here, but I like Callie McManus with Strong. I think that's the best pairing. I think Pavia with Cheryl's the best pairing. I think Brazel's a very good bring back. I prefer Staley probably a hair more because Brazel's very volatile. And realistically, it could be any of the Tennessee wide receivers. I don't know that it could easily be Mike Matthews. I don't love Bishop. I like Katron Allen a ton, and he fits perfectly with this. Keelan Marion's my favorite value play. Like, I mean, can I get better than this? I hope so, Myron. I hope so. I like MJ Morris. I I'm ashamed to an extent to say how much I liked MJ Morris going into the season or going into his career at is that NC State where he was and then transferred to yes, he was at NC State. It's so hard to say I want to play Ashton. I mean, Ashton Daniels is terrible. It's all good, David. Just fair warning, I'm not big on FanDuel today. I think I'm just going to end up playing this. I don't know how I don't. I don't think I can come up with something that correlates better than this. I love this Vandy Tennessee game. I love this Rutgers Penn State game. I know I made this for my 20 max. I don't think I can make a better team. I want to play Hardy and Baugh here. And it works, obviously, because I save 1,000. I have 700 left over. But what am I doing with the 700? Because then I get to 4,100, and what do I get out of it? And then Hardy is probably like they're probably a combined Hardy and Ball probably combined for. Yeah, I think FanDuel's awful this week. I normally play 30 to 50 teams, and I legit have I think 5 to 10, and I don't like them at all. I just played a ton of Elijah Lofton basically, and decided to just chuck in some Wiegman, Pavia, and Kyron Drones stuff. And that was it. And the only reason I'm playing Kyron Drones is because I hope that I don't think anything really opens up with Trig out. Maybe Kloffenstein, but at the same time, I think they just change the offense and throw more to the wideouts. And the wideouts it's probably just a ton more targets for Josh Cameron. And that's about it. But even then, that's a kind of a run funnel. I don't know. That defense is good, man. That Houston defense is underrated. How they're a dog in that game, I don't know. We threw a little parlay in just a second ago. Clemson money line, Kentucky money line, and Houston money line. It's like +8 something. It's an insane good value for me. I mean, I have all three anyway. Money line as just a straight bet, but then to get them at parlay, why not? All three of them should be favored. Like I don't know. Like if you take Baugh and Hardy, and you say Baugh and Hardy each combined for 25 apiece, let's say, right? That's 50. Can Allen and Bishop beat that? Like Bishop's probably in the same ballpark as Baugh. I don't know that he's much different. He catches passes fairly well. Remember, Peyton Lewis is probably out still. Yeah, you can do that. I didn't, but I'm sure Michigan's getting bet heavily. Plus, you got to think, Myron. I would bet Portnoy probably bet it, which is a big number. Portnoy's probably got 100, like easy 6 figures on that game. It probably is moving the number a hair too, depending on the book. But I would say it's probably moving because of that. If I was to guess, I don't know how I get off of this. Like, how do I change this team to get it to switch around? You can't switch. You can switch Marion, but then you're gonna have to change these guys out. These guys are the ones you'd have to change. But it doesn't really matter. Like this is going to stay no matter what. So if that's staying, I don't know that I can do any better than that because of the correlation factor that the running backs have. Even though I love Ahmad Hardy, like Ahmad Hardy would have to get 50. Ball would have to. Ahmad Hardy would have to match Allen, and then Ball would have to beat Bishop. Yeah, they are, but they're an awful, awful running game. God, they have such a bad running back core. Brock Townsend is just, oh my goodness. Central Michigan used to have such good running backs. I can't find a way to make that team any better. So that's where we're going for sure. All right. We're going to make that. We're going to play that. I don't think I can make that team any better. I want to get Hardy in that, but I can't make that team better. because I refuse to play. I definitely refuse to play. What's his face? Uh, what's that? What's my guy's name? DT Sheffield. I refuse to play DT Sheffield. All right, let's import a team that's a Pavia Wiegman. So we got one at the top right here. I like that. Don't love that, but I'm open to it. So I got one Pavia Wiegman team. Where's the other Pavia Wiegman team? This one's a Pavia Wiegman team, but that's got Javen Boggs in it, and I don't think I want to go there. I do have a Sourceby team down here, but it's mainly based on Sourceby running. Do I have another Pavia Wiegman? You notice there's how many Carson Becks there are. All right, let's put this Pavia Wiegman in for right now. I think Antoine Raymond is a good play here. So, like, do I want to play Coleman? I like Deuce Robinson a lot. I think Ashton Daniels is fine. I just think he's a bad player. That's the thing. All right, so is there a way to go instead of Mike Washington, instead of Coleman? Let's take Deuce out. Is there a way to go Ahmad Hardy with but see, that's gonna get me. Yeah, you can play Pavia naked. You can play Pavia naked anywhere more. I prefer Ball because of he's the only back in that backfield. He's the only back in that backfield. I think Ahmad Hardy has a legit shot to go for 50 in this spot. I mean, just a absolute legit nuke spot. I wish I didn't have Keelan Marion right there because then I could go, or I would go Keelan Marion and Deuce Robinson, but he's sitting right there, which sucks. I don't like a lot of players down here in this 3,500 range. Because I don't want to pick on TCU with Cincinnati's passing because they're pretty doo-doo, pretty cheeks. Like Raylan Sharp would be the play at 4,300, and then that gets you 5,500, which gives you the option to go Cheryl. Or you would go Kojul at 52, and then you would have 46, but then you're stuck with in this range, which I don't love, because you would have to go to like Malik Benson or Max Clare. I mean, I think Max Clare is a reasonable play today, but what's the upside? Especially if you're going there. I don't love that. Could go up at that point. So I could go Sharp, Cheryl, Kojul. That would work. What was the weather? Yeah, but I think the weather was a little bit cheeks in that game, Missouri, Arkansas game. No, it's 15 to 20 gusting. That's not a big deal. Or 15 to 20 sustained. And Sharp's more of a short area target. So, because like I gotta play an Ahmad Hardy team with these guys. I like that too much. I think Raymond's a good play, like a quality play. I could gain 600 if I went from Raymond down, but I think Raymond's a good play in that spot. All right, let's see here. I think we're going to switch to this because then I get Hardy in case that game blows up like I think it could. We're going to take Kojul. We're going to take Cheryl. Yep, and that gets us Arkansas at 4,300. It gets me Raylan Sharp, which I like. So Raylan Sharp's he's the de facto 1 right now. He's getting a ton of targets, 60 or more receiving in 4 straight games, 5 of 6 actually. Hasn't had the explosive game, but he gets a ton of targets, especially once Petrino's taken over. So super interested in Raylan Sharp. I think he's the best avenue for them to be able to move the football in a short area. So I do have interest there. I think Cheryl's the best option as a stack partner with Pavia. I think Kojul is the best option because Baylor stinks against the tight end. So that kind of leaves me in that range. And then otherwise you would have to add 600. Then that would only get you to 5K. And if I got to 5K, it wouldn't help me because I was debating like if I went down here to Xavier Robinson or something, that's an extra 600, gets me 700, takes me off a Sharp, puts me in this 5K range, which would get you Sadiq. Oh, that's one to think about. Yeah. Oh, it's senior day for a lot of teams, for everybody that's home. It's a senior day. So here's a question. Sadiq versus Sharp, which is probably let's just call it ceiling-wise, a 10-point difference. And then Raymond versus Robinson or Payne. Raymond has upside, man. I mean, that 30-point game against Washington just stands out to our point of what we were talking about the other day. Like, I don't expect a Maryland game, let's be real. But that's just so much safer, man. That Raymond spot is so much safer. Like, I don't think Penn State can they can blow Rutgers out running the football, but Rutgers is going to be in it. I'm going to play this. I actually do like that from the upside standpoint, and I'm going to play that. That's a lot of the guys that I like, and I like playing this Pavia Wiegman stuff. So we'll play some different Pavia Wiegman stuff because I'm going to play a second team of that anyway. All right, let's do. You already know I've got to do this. All right, import. Where is Pavia and Beck? By the way, this team is probably my favorite team, which is scary because I'm not going to play it. But do I want to play this? I kind of want to play this in a team. I mean, in the 5, like in the single entry. I'm tempted. Carson Beck with Callie McManus. It's just fading the 2 high-priced quarterbacks, but you literally get all 3 of the best running back plays, and you get Deuce, which is the best wide receiver play for me, and then you stack each of the quarterbacks. Like, this team is just laying nuts on the table, but it's getting rid of literally the best 2 quarterback plays on the slate, which I hate. Golly. I'm so tempted to play this because this just has I'm laying it all on the line type deal going, especially in single entry. Ugh, that one's a fun one. That's a fun lineup. I'm tempted to play it in the 25 just as I can't do it, but I want to. I'm just pointing it out. I think it's just I'm not going to say the word I want to say, but it does do what I'm thinking it does. Just pointing it out. Oh, I don't think I want to play a double stack of Callie McManus in this. I think you got to play Duff or Strong, personally. It's hard not to play that. All right. Pavia Beck team. So I have 2 Pavia. I think I do have 2 Pavia Beck teams. Yeah, here's one right here. Okay, let's import this. Pavia Ball Hardy is just a fun way to play. I think Katron Allen's underrated in that sense, though, if we're saying that Ball is a lot compared. I love the Pribula Coleman leverage on Hardy. I love it. I would bring that back though with Mike Washington and or Raylan Sharp. But I do love the Pribula Coleman stuff as leverage. I mean, how do you not love this team? How do you not love this team? You get Marion and Lofton with Beck. You go Staley. You could go down. You could go down to our guy Brazel. You could go Brazel and Junior Sherrill. That's the tough part. I like Raymond. I think it's fun, man. I think Beck Tony Marion's fun. I think Tony's priced more than I want in that spot. And I think everybody's going to play Tony. So getting leverage, I think I can get a ton of leverage on Tony with Lofton Marion. And Lofton's got a great matchup. People forget, man. Remember a couple weeks ago, granted, I was all in on Malachi Fields. And, well, in fairness, the last time I was in on a passing attack against Pitt, I won 7K on Malachi Fields. That's maybe he's my Keelan Marion today. But Eli Raridan was the second best option in that offense that day, and we were getting exposure. And the guy who played the position that Malachi Tony plays was Jordan Faison, and he didn't do squat. It was all outside wide receivers. It was Marion and then the tight ends in Lofton. I think Mike Washington paired with the Pribula Coleman stuff is great. I really do. Hardy, Bishop, Brazel, Marion, Richardson, Sherrill, Beck. I think it's a great play. I think that's fabulous. I love Pavia with 2. Sims like Payne, huh? I know. I've seen that. Everybody seems to like Jeremy Payne today. I know. I'm interested in the Payne stuff. I just don't know how I feel about it. You know, I'm probably going to end up with something of Payne, but I don't know that Xavier Robinson's not a better play than Payne. Granted, I've been given the blade by a TCU running back more than once this season, specifically Kavori and Barnes. But I mean, Allen and Hardy's my favorite too. I can go off of this, but then I have to move off of something else, and I don't think there's anything that I want to move off of on this because of Staley. Like I could go off of Staley, but you're moving Richardson in here. I don't really want to go to Mike Washington or anything. My top wide receiver, if you said in a vacuum, I want one wide receiver, it's Deuce Robinson. I think Ball Robinson stuff as like a correlation play is one of the best. You think Hardy to Ball and go Deuce Robinson here? I mean, that's legit. Like, I agree with that. I think that's a fabulous way to play it. You could go, so here's what you could do here. You're not wrong. You go Ball and Deuce. I mean, that slaps. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I agree with that. I have a hard time saying that's a bad play. I don't disagree with you. Do I lose some leverage? Like, because I think Tennessee plays in this game. So that's what the struggle is for me, right? Is Robinson's an exponentially better play in a vacuum than Staley. An exponentially better play. I would choose Deuce 100 times out of 100 unless I have Weigman. The only reason I would take Thomas is if I have Weigman. But I would prefer Deuce and then go to Kojual somewhere else personally. Yeah, you would play Jeremy Payne. I don't know that Payne has the upside that Richardson has, though. Actually, I would love that to be Junior Sherrill. If I had an extra 100, it would be Junior Sherrill 100%. 5,800 left as a flex. Best raw points flex probably at 5,800. Antoine Raymond. I'd play Raymond at 58. Otherwise, I like Sadiq as the second. Or Ian Strong I think it would be Ian Strong or Antoine Raymond. I think you're picking a Rutgers guy there. It's one or the other. I think Strong has a legit shot for 100 yards. He's pretty good at that, at hitting that. So I hear what you're saying on the Payne over Richardson stuff, Jake. The problem is, the best, Jaden Ball. I mean, he's legit. I like Sherrill personally. I would prefer Sherrill. He's been more consistent. I think that game shoots out. I don't trust Kenny John. I don't trust anything with Pitt today. I hope Pitt wins, but I don't trust it. So the only reason Washington's pass defense is solid. I think that's an under. I think that game goes under personally, David. I think that pass defense is pretty good. I don't disagree. I've been on that Weimer thing, man. It's all whether he hits a long play or not, and I do not trust him. Yeah, but the problem is I'm losing correlation. What is can Tony match Allen? I think the floor of Tony and Robinson is fine. I think the ceiling of Lofton Allen is far exceeding Tony Robinson. It's very possible, but I think that the floor and ceiling combination. Let me see. Washington gives up over 14 points a game to tight ends. So that's why I'm on the Sadiq stuff pretty heavily as far as that raw goes. To give you an idea, the worst team in the country is Pitt at over 16. So they're 2 points behind. It's not very different. So, yeah, I would say it's Sadiq or bust for me. I don't particularly love. I think Malik Benson's one of the worst wide receivers in the country. He's the Cam Fancher of wide receivers. So I just can't go there. I understand on this team why you would want to adjust. Like, I think going down from Allen to Hardy makes sense, but I just don't. Yeah, I mean, Sadiq is the number one in that offense. So the reason why you don't go Payne here is because if Pavia has a ceiling game, he has to throw for 300. He has to run for 100. The only way he throws for 300 is if it goes to one of those weapons and they smash. Richardson was the one who smashed last week. I prefer Junior Sherrill. I would much rather play Junior Sherrill. It's $100 short. So clearly the nuts lineup is if this was Junior Sherrill, but we don't have the money. And I'm not going to switch off a Ball, and it's either going to be Hardy here or Ball here. It's not going to be like I can't come off of Katron Allen in that spot. It's too nuts. I agree with that. 100%. And that's why I think Payne's a good play. It's just in a vacuum. I don't think Pavia can get there without one of his weapons getting there. And if you're not playing the weapon, you would have to come off a deuce then. I would 100% double stack Vandy. 100%. You're 100% playing Russian roulette with it, guaranteed. But I think playing Richardson and Sherrill is perfectly acceptable. I love lineups that are Pavia with Richardson and Sherrill, then get a Tennessee wide receiver and a Tennessee running back, and just LSU's run defense has struggled late in the season. I think Xavier Robinson's a very sneaky way to get leverage on the field against Jeremy Payne. Everybody's going to be on Jeremy Payne. Thank you, Fernando Castellano. Appreciate you. Yep. Yeah, Jake, no problem, man. I think the ball deuce thing is a fun way to play it. I'll play that. I got no issues playing that. I'm perfectly happy with it. I'm perfectly in on the ball stuff, and it's the back doubles that are the fun way to play, and that's my favorite correlation outside of the big two games that I like, the big three games we'll say, Rutgers, Penn State, Vandy, Tennessee, Houston, Baylor is my favorite 3 game environments, and then throwing a little bit of Pitt in there. Oh. I don't like that. I don't even want to make that decision, Josh. I don't want to make that decision. I'll be honest. I don't. I don't like that. I don't want to have to make that decision. Golly. Let me see. I'm just gonna read. It's Brazel over Staley on FanDuel for me. I prefer Staley over Brazel on DK. But I think Brazel's touchdown upside's higher. His ceiling's higher, Staley's floor's higher. But yeah. Sadiq. I probably prefer Sadiq over Payne, but that sounds like I'm just asking for problems. Let's be real here. That does sound like I'm asking for problems. All right, let's import a Wiegman. I need a Wiegman and Calic Manis team that I already have so that I can play with it because I'm trying to play different teams here a little bit. Man, guys, I'm really tempted to play this freaking Calic Manis Beck team. I'm really tempted. Do I have another Wiegman Calic Manis? I've got to. I know I do. Okay. That one has Dean Connors and Amari Tom. I'm not playing that. I'm not playing. See, that's what I'm saying. When I go 20 max single entry stuff, you get some weird crap like Wiegman, Connors, Thomas, Calic Manis, Duff, and Strong. That's just stupid. I'm not playing that in the $25. I am not playing that. That is just ridiculous. All right. Do I have any more Wiegman? Calic Manis? No. All right. This is what we're looking at. Is there anything I want to adjust here? Yes. I am not playing a double stack. I prefer Strong. I don't mind the Brazel stuff. No, I don't think so. You can't play anybody against you can't play anybody against that team personally. All right, so this is a naked Wiegman, which it doesn't have to be because this KJ Duff can switch to Kojul and it's not naked anymore. Hardy and Allen are my favorite two backs. I'm going to play them here. I might come off of this and go back to Marion, albeit then I'm like all of it. Shout out Fernando. I love getting those messages because that means I am big enough to get those messages. I appreciate that. I appreciate you and I appreciate that. Golly, I really want this to be Junior Cheryl kind of, but then I can't. Like it just now I'm playing into that and I can't. Oh, Baylor's run defense is cheeks, but Connors has been splitting work. He's been splitting work with the backup running back. He hadn't had 15 carries in like 3 weeks. And then Wiegman's getting, 15 to Wiegman gets more carries than Connors. That's the thing. Wiegman does get more carries than Connors. I think I'm going to go Kojul here. And then I'm going to change off of Lofton and obviously get to Marion because why wouldn't I? Because I don't want to play multiple tight ends in a lineup. All right, we are. I do not want to do that. I need to move Brazel down there. All right, I got Marion. I need to move Kojul in here. Gives me 5,800. I'm not playing. Obviously, I'm not playing. What's his face with this? So, the obvious play is to put Raymond in here, but I'm not playing Raymond with Calic Manis. That's just stupid. Let's just say Tennessee blows them out. It's the way to play this on the back end. So we're going to do that. I do think it's viable. Like I said, you saw the lineup when I first put it in there. It's KJ Duff in here, and I think it's smart to get a double stack there. But I'm going to stack Wiegman in this spot. I want to get Allen Hardy. I think there's viability to going down from Hardy to Ball and getting up to Mike Washington in this spot as well. But we're gonna play it this way as a different way for me to play it. Perfectly happy with that. All right, let's go here. So I originally had a Pavia Wiegman that I was going to try to put together here. And a Wiegman Beck. in the 2 single entries. I think I changed my mind. I think I changed my mind. I think I'm going to play this. I think I'm going to play this. I like this too much. I can't not play this in one of the single entries. So one single entry is going to be Bet Kaliak Manis. I think it's disgusting. I'm disappointed in myself for playing this. I'll be disappointed if it wins $500, and I'll be very upset. I'll be honest. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. It makes so much sense that I can't not play it though. In this, I have it in 20 max, but I mean, it's the most disgusting thing possible. You're fading literally 2 of the nuttest players on the slate in Pavia and Weedman. Yeah, we're gonna get there. I'm sorry. I'm very excited about this slate. Apparently, 5.4K flex on DK. It's Cheryl or Sadiq. I think is where you have to go. I'm leaning on the Sadiq stuff over Payne personally. I think Connors is fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I don't think he's a bad play. I just think that there's so many options in that spot, right? I don't have any Connors yet, which you're right about. I mean, Connors could easily smash here. I was going to play a Pavia Weedman. You know what? I tell you what. This is for you, Rod. This is for you. We're going to play that. We're going to play that. We're going to take the running. We're going to take the matchups in this spot. We are going to play Weedman because it feels disgusting, and I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to play Pavia. And I'm going to just jam. I'm going to jam in Connors as my stack partner with Weedman, thinking nobody else is going to play that. I'm going to jam Hardy, thinking that he can outscore Katron Allen. I'm going to jam Cheryl, probably. I think I'm going to jam Cheryl because I think that's kind of fun to jam with Pavia. I'm tempted to jam another guy in there, but I might go Sadiq. Is there a 3,800 wide receiver that I feel moderately okay with? I mean, Kobe Prentice sucks. Oh, I like Richardson. Yeah, I think that's fair play. I think it's fair play. Oh, you know what the most disgusting thing you could do would be is, well, I don't hate the Randy Pittman call. He's been getting that goal line work, catching passes. Do I have anything on Pittman? Third on the team in targets, plays 97% of the snaps. I love Keelan Marion. It's impossible to not play Keelan Marion. I wonder if I play Randy Pittman. Do I play Randy Pittman here with Kenyon Sadiq? I hate playing multiple tight ends. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Do I play? I don't want to play Kojal in that spot with him. I'm playing Hardy. I know I'm playing Hardy. Do I play Joe Royer? Do I play John Denman at 4K and leave myself 4,800? But then I don't like anybody at 4,800. So why would I do that? Well, I guess I could go from him to Richardson. But if I went from him to Richardson, then I could play Kojal. So I could play Kojal, Richardson over Cheryl. But I really would prefer to be able to get Brazzle. Razzle Brazzle. I prefer to jam Brazzle. And then I'd have to get into this weird range. You know who my last man in was on one of my teams was Cole Spence. I think that's a sneaky way to play the Vandy pass attack, by the way. I don't mind Royer. I think Cole Spence is actually a weird way to play this. Play 3,100 Cole Spence, have 5,700. You play Brazzle. So you play, but then now you're playing a Pavia double. Like, how do you feel about playing a Pavia double? To y'all's point, played Joey Weimer. He sucks though. It's all long touchdowns. All right, let me think on that one. I got 20 minutes to figure it out. I think Boggs might be fun too, or LaWayne McCoy. Multiple fun ways to play that. You know what I could play? I could play LaWayne McCoy or Boggs. And then now I'm playing like the number 3. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I understand. Yeah. Ethan Davis. That might not be a bad shout, brother. That might not be a bad shout. You're right. No, I think Ethan Davis might be the play. Let's do that. Then you got 5K. You get Sadiq. You get the tight end team. I actually like this. Well, he's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end, but yeah, he's starting for Kitzelman. I don't mind this. That's pretty fun. Because I get the Connors Weigman stuff for the matchup. I get the Hardy for the matchup. I get Marion, who I like. I get Cheryl, who I like with Pavia. I get the bring back of Ethan Davis. They struggle with the tight ends. I get the Sadiq stuff where I think he just eats. They struggle with tight ends. Like, all right, I'm down for that. I'm down for that in single entry. All right, let me pull. I love the all tight end. Why not? You know what I mean? Let's get all the tight ends. I think you could play Kojul. I think you could play Elijah Lofton here. Like, you could legit play all tight ends in this spot. You could go 4 tight ends and just go screw it. I'm going to play all the tight ends because they got a whole bunch of nut spots. The problem is what's their upside? Davis and Sadiq have good upside, at least in that spot. Lofton, but I'm okay with it. So it doesn't offend me playing that for sure. Let's see here. Let's look at the night slate. All right, I'm going to enter this and we'll talk night slate while we close this thing out before we get going. That's a fun way to play. I'm going to play a little something different in that coffee corner. Why not? All right, so let's take a look at this thing. All right. I don't love that Kyron Jones price at 7K. I'm not playing Chandler Morris at 8.2. I can tell you that right now. I don't even have to think about that. Fernando's eating. Shout out Fernando. Keep giving me those comments, brother. Jump in the chat. Malik Washington, I like. I think he's a great player. I think Michigan State sucks. I need to look at the weather. Milivojevic, I think, is a crappy quarterback, but at 5K facing Maryland, I'm going to have interest. So like this game is sneaky good for the quarterback play for sure, especially the cheap ones. Let's see here. Actually, let's just go through one at a time. 8,600 for Taylor's fine. I'm not interested in the Virginia Tech running backs. They're pretty doo-doo. Cheeks. Trell Harris is fine. I do not like Jamal Adreen. I prefer Cam Ross to Adreen. That's not even close for me. It would be Harris or Ross. I do not play anybody for Virginia Tech outside of Kyron Drones. If I'm going to play anybody, Michigan State, Maryland, love the quarterbacks, obviously. Don't know about Frazier. I don't trust any of the running backs particularly. Maybe Tote Oliver. I don't know. I don't love the pricing on them. Probably out there. Williams, 100% yes. I love this kid. He will be in my teams. No doubt about it. I'm so pumped to have the spam bots, man. Everybody wants to get rid of them. but I'm pumped for it. I love this DeJuan Williams play. I think it's a great play. You can play him stacked with the quarterback situation as well. Nick Marsh priced up, but I'm still going to be interested. I think the kid's a stud. Um, I think he needs to transfer. I think he's one of the better players in the country. McCray had a good game last week. I'm still not interested. I get it. Maybe I'll end up moving on to it a little bit later. I doubt it. I don't like Amari Kelly. I think he's a bad player. Marsh is a stud, man. They just need to feed that kid. He's the Cam Coleman of the Big Ten, personally. I think he's one of the more talented players in the country. Fleming, I'm not a fan. Farouk, I'm not a fan. Knotts is the guy that I would go to. He's the guy that I prefer as the stack option. I might end up with a triple probably in one or two teams. Malik Washington, Shalik Knotts, and DeJuan Williams. I feel pretty good with that personally. Alabama, Auburn. Man, this used to always be a 2:30 game. They're making it a night game. Shout out them. Let's see. I got to make sure that I entered everything just in case. You never know. All right, good. Yeah, all I got is that. Okay, perfect. All right. Ty Simpson's a heck no for me at 8,700. I'd rather just pay down. I don't love Daniels at 76. I just don't think he's very good. And I think Deuce Knight probably sees the field after what he did last week. Cobb, no thank you. Not at 67. He's too expensive. Bama can't run the football, so that's all a no. Bernard's the best player. He's better than Williams. Ignore Brian Williams. He does not exist. If you're playing a player on Auburn, it's probably Cam Coleman, best player in the SEC that's on a crap team. Charlottesville, David. He's in Charlottesville. It's gonna be freezing in Virginia today. Nothing new there though. They're used to it. Lottie Brooks would be a good punt play. Cuevas is the question mark, right? Now that he's out, I don't know who takes over that role. It's something I'm going to need to look at because Auburn is beatable at the tight end position. So there's going to be some value that opens up there, whether that's Lottie Brooks playing more in 3 wide receiver sets or 4 wide receiver sets. Lottie Brooks has been coming in a lot. If they're playing 4 wide, I am a Lottie Brooks guy. Horton's been on the field, but he does not see a who. And like Rico Scott is playing a little bit, but they kind of mix and match outside of Bernard. Williams even got caught up in that mixing and matching. That's why he's not in play for me. This game, I think's fun. I will play some Gio Lopez. Thank you very much. 22 points last week against that awful Duke pass defense. NC State pass defense, not particularly good either. CJ Bailey's a no thank you for me personally. I think the NC's defense is pretty solid. I like Deshaun Bishop Jake. I think we're fine. Vandy is a pass funnel defense. So they stop the run and say, throw it to beat us. I love the Geo Ship combination. Myron's reading my mind. I think Geo Ship is one hell of a good play. I don't think you have to go Paysor, but I think it's a fine way to get extra exposure as well. I used to call him Justin Jolly. He is Joe Lee, but I'm interested there as well. Will he take him away is the question, or will he focus on the run game? I think he focuses on Smothers personally. I don't think Smothers is super efficient. I'm always concerned about the fact that Will Wilson's going to come in and poach touchdowns around the goal line, which is why I don't like Bailey, why I don't like Smothers, and why I would limit exposure to just Justin Joe Lee. I do like their wide receivers. They have some good ones, but they don't use them properly. So, dang you, Dave Dorn. Northwestern and Illinois. Minor interest in Ohlmeyer, maybe, but probably not. I just can't trust the kid. Preston Stone sucks, so I'm not particularly interested there. I understand if you want to take shots. I just don't think he's good enough. Last week was a all-time game out of him. Comafele is a good player, not a great player. I'm okay with him. Fagan did not get enough work last week. I don't know what the deal is there. Khalil Valentine does not get enough work. Lofbury does not get enough work. They need to pick somebody, please. Hyman gets work, but I think Comafele is the better option. Griffin Wild, clear number 1 on this offense. If anybody's going to score on offense, it will be Griffin Wild. Wildy, excuse me. I think Wildy is a good play at 5,800. I think Hank Beatty is a good play. He's going to get fed targets at 5,600. He could have I think Beatty is probably my favorite of the bunch in this spot, but I think Wildy is also a very good option. Clement's getting some run. Bowick gets some run. I think Colin Dixon's priced way too low at 3,300, so he might be my favorite play on this slate as far as that goes. I really do have interest there. I need to check the weather on that game, but I do have interest, and I think he's a great value. He's the best value option on the slate from what I gradually remember, but I still have to run projection on it. Lane's probably priced a little more than I would like. Lemon, you can jam. You just keep jamming Lemon. Hines has played better, but I don't trust it. So I would say it's Lemon or bust. Miller's priced too high, especially with Wayman Jordan projected to get back and get some carries to get himself loosened up, we'll say. I don't know. I think this thing turns into a blowout and we could get some Brian Jackson work late, but kind of tough in that spot. Maeva at 9K, I would play, but I'd only reserve it to playing with Lemon personally. I do like Maeva, though. I'm a Maeva fan either which way. I'm not going to play any of Noah Fafita. Best 3,900 wide receiver main slate is going to be Keelan Marion at 3,400. It's not close for me. And then otherwise, if you're out and you already used Keelan Marion, I think I'm going to end up on the Tennessee tight end Ethan Wilson, I think it was, that we played. He's the backup, but Kitzelman is out. All right, so wrapping this night slate up. Sagapatele, I have interest in personally. I think I'm going to play a little bit of that. I do have interest. He's struggled, but he's on the at home facing an SMU team that cannot do crap. Ugh. Nevada is so terrible. The most shocking result of the entire season was Nevada blowing out San Jose State for me. TJ Harden, Kendrick Raphael. I'm not playing Harden. I refuse. I cannot play. I do not want to play Harden. I do not want to play Harden. I do not want to play. I'm gonna have to keep saying it to myself because I'm going to end up wanting to, even though his numbers suck. But he's previously played for UCLA. He's playing Cal in Cal. Their defense sucks against the run. I don't like Kendrick Raphael, but I'm probably going to end up playing some at 6,400. Number one 5K player is Kenyon Sadiq. In a vacuum, Kenyon Sadiq at 5K or below. I would play Kenyon Sadiq. De Jesus, target vacuum. The man is a walking 16 points. He's like a running back playing wide receiver. Sagapatele with him and Tron Grizel could be a cheat code here. So I think a double stack of Sagapatele is kind of a fun way to play it. Jordan Hudson, a high-end play, no doubt about it. I hate that Jennings price too, but I think I'm going to end up playing a game stack of this game with Jennings, Hudson, and then Sagapatele with De Jesus and Grizel. I think that's a really fun way to play this. Brinson, if you really wanted a second guy, sure, but I doubt it. Even at 4.1, I wish RJ Maryland was a thing. He used to be good until he exploded that knee. Now Hibner is the better option. Actually, you could play Hibner as your double stack. I don't think that I hate that. I would play Hibner as the double stack with Jennings, but Jennings just has not had the mobility. He did go off last week. He just hasn't run the football near where he was. So do have interest, but that's kind of where we are. All right, let's wrap this thing. Good luck to you guys. Yeah, with Minnie out, I think Grizel's through the roof. So I think Grizel's a great play at 4K. I think I'm going to end up playing some 20 max, and then I'll figure out my main entry. I doubt I tilt enter this thing, but we'll see. Kojul or Sadiq for FanDuel. If you have, I would prefer Sadiq in a vacuum, but if you have Wiegman, I would play Kojul because the matchup's great. So it would be Sadiq in a vacuum, Kojul not in a vacuum if there's Wiegman. So Wiegman, Kojul, no Wiegman, Sadiq. That's kind of where I would be. All right. Good luck, you guys. Definitely, we'll be back next week. We're going to keep going. We're riding all the way through bowl season, all the way through the national championship. I prefer Weigman, but I did play some drones. So I wouldn't talk you off of either. I played multiple teams with both. And teams with Pavia, drones, Pavia, and Weigman. I prefer Weigman. I'm mainly hedging my heart with drones because I can't stand Virginia Tech, but I'll play some Kyron drones because I think he gets enough rushing. Weigman's just an exponentially better play because he's going to throw for twice the amount of yards. So, all right, appreciate all you guys joining all regular season. I will be back on. I don't know if we'll be back tomorrow night for the recap. Depends. Brian's in Louisiana near me. And then he's probably going to go back to Florida if I was to guess on Sunday. But maybe if he's back, we'll do a little recap, talk some stuff. And then next week, I'll be previewing the championship games. So I'll probably do a little Friday stuff. And then since it's a smaller slate, we'll do plenty of Saturday content and talk through all that stuff. And then hopefully we'll start the bowl game stuff. I'll be honest, I'm going to do bowl games, but you're going to have to watch some serious stuff for injury news and notes and who's in, who's out. But I'll do my best to do some same day stuff because previewing long-term bowl game stuff is not going to work. So it's all going to have to be same day. But we'll get into it. We'll work through it. And I'm going to try to keep grinding through some money and make some more. So appreciate all you guys. Best of luck today. May the luck be in our favor today, and we don't get the blade from Caleb Hawkins-esque